Good Saturday morning, everybody. I know it's a lot of people out at other events. I saw there's some Canadian events going on today. I saw Todd had a Super Saturday there, and I know Brent's got a big one in Colorado Springs. So hey, there's so much going on with the company. It's just an exciting time, and we're so excited to hear from Barbara today. I want to welcome everybody. Yeah, Cindy, you want to make that announcement? I don't know who all on this call needs to hear this, but it's about the
Yeah.
Hawaii trip. Cindy, you want to go ahead and do that right now?
Yes, Kevin Coda reached out to me last night and asked me to announce, sorry, I have laryngitis, but on today's call, if any of you are going to the Maui trip, you must have your I guess it would be your documents into Kevin. They emailed you yesterday and last week before Monday in order to go on the excursions. So, and that's for everyone in your group and everyone in your room.
I'm sure it's a release form, not holding
Yeah.
anybody liable for if you're going on excursions.
Yeah, it probably
Hawaii
is.
trip people, remember that. If you're going to Hawaii, make sure you get your paperwork in before Monday morning.
And for your everyone in your room. Yep.
Awesome, awesome.
Thank you.
Guys, we're just so excited this morning. Cindy, I'm going to make you the host so you can make changes if you need to. I know you're way more familiar with all the technology here, so I switched to the host to you since we're not running a PowerPoint this morning. But I want to welcome Barbara. And guys, we're just so excited about what's going on. I know this new product, everybody, we probably got a dozen testimonials, but I'll tell you personally, and I'll probably give mine during her thing, as I've been amazed. I'm not someone who really believed they had an issue with with poop, I guess is what we want to call it. I just never had thought about it. I mean, it's kind of a funny subject, and we really laughed a lot at Natural about it. But guys, I lost 8 pounds. I couldn't believe it. And I didn't change anything other than I did the tea for 6 days, 7 days. So, but at any rate, guys, Kristen, I want you to really introduce Barbara because you work with her and you're on the Wellness Council, and we've got other Wellness Council members. But most people know that Barbara is an amazing. And we love the accent too. I just love getting her on here so we get to hear the. I know she laughs when she hears my Southern accent, and I'm not. I told someone last week at the meeting, I'm not sure my accent is Southern. I think it's just country bumpkin something. I'm not sure exactly what, but it's not English, that's for sure. So with that, Kristen, I want you to really talk about it and bring her on. My daughter's gonna is just praises you all the time, so I asked her to get on and do the introduction.
Yeah, well, of course, we're so excited that Barbara takes her time out of her super busy schedule. It's obviously 9 or maybe 10 o'clock where you are, or maybe eight in US, but it's 3 o'clock, I believe, for Barbara, because I mean she's way ahead of us. So getting her to schedule for us is a huge deal. And we're just super excited to have her. If you haven't heard her before, she's a wealth of knowledge. She's obviously on our scientific advisory board. I believe she's our vice president of, is it nutrition, Barbara? Is that the exact title? Health and nutrition. So she's obviously with corporate. She's an author. She's one of the smartest people I've ever listened to when it comes to nutrition and ingredients and how they all connect in the body. And I love listening to her because she makes it sound so simple. It's not so like, where is she going with this? It's just really absorbable. And so that's why I like listening to her because it's very relatable. And so she's one of my favorite people in the company when it comes to relating it to the field. And we're just super excited she's on and going to talk to us about our newest product. You've probably heard already a couple of people talk about it, whether it's Dr. Strand or Dr. Plant, but it's always fun to hear another take on it and how how we all get to listen and absorb new ways to take it to our customers and to our own personal journey. So I'm going to let Barbara take over now, and she's going to talk about Core Cleanse and maybe other supporting products, how it goes with our gut health.
Wow, what an intro. Thank you so much, Kristen. I adore working alongside you. I tell you what, Kristen is just an amazing asset to our Wellness Academy. She really is incredible straight across the board. And Chris, you have a Southern accent as far as I'm concerned.
Take that. You
It's
understand what I'm saying. That's good.
It's all good. It's all good. Now, it's really interesting actually, because I'm going to be really open today. Really happy to take questions. We're here, I think, for an hour, which is brilliant. And if you have any further questions, then you can always reach out to me. I'm very responsive on email. It becomes my to-do list to go through Kristen or Chris, either one, which is great. But it's wonderful to see you all on board, which is lovely. And yes, do you know what? Poo is not an easy thing to talk about. Now, it really isn't. It's quite embarrassing, actually. Now, being a nutritionist and a naturopath, I'm used to talking about bowel movements. I'm used to talking about frequency of bowel movements, color of bowel movements. I mean, let me tell you, nothing bothers me at all. So today I kind of want to set everyone up with talking about gut health, the importance of gut health. Yes, I'm going to talk about core cleanse, but I'm also going to talk about Restorix. I want to talk about giving greens, probiotics, and glycotrol. I want to talk about that all together, because what's really, really interesting is if we get our gut working properly, my goodness, your health really improves and opens up in so many different ways. Gut health really, really matters. It's the foundation of overall wellness. So when we're doing it properly, it really can influence your energy, influence your mood, influence your weight management, influence inflammation. Now, I don't want to get too much into the diseases of civilization today. That's cancer, heart disease, diabetes, mental health issues, obesity, Alzheimer's, dementia. All of those diseases of civilization are recent, more exacerbated because our gut isn't working properly, our inflammation is high, and we are just overloaded with toxins. So we want to get really good nutrient absorption happening here. Our modern lifestyles are poor, to say the least, right? Processed foods, stress, sugar, low fiber, these disrupt the whole gut microbiome and slow down those detox pathways. So you know what? When your gut gets sluggish, those toxins build up, the digestion slows, the body really struggles to perform at its best. Now, I love talking about waking up feeling 10 out of 10 every single day. And if you're not feeling 10 out of 10 every day, you need to look back 2, 3, 4 days. What have you done, okay, that hasn't set you up for feeling 10 out of 10? So if we can constantly be setting ourselves up to feel 10 out of 10, as well as our customers, that is amazing. And gut health really brings that all together. Now, look, cleansing is important. Oh my goodness. Do you know what? Some people just say, do the New Year's cleanse. January, New Year's cleanse. That's it. I mean, so you're going to build up. Think of the common sense of this, okay? You're going to build up all these toxins for 12 months and cleanse for a week, maybe. Because don't forget, people do not stick to New Year's resolutions, so that's going to go out the window. So what do you do for the 12 years? You suffer the 12 months. You're suffering in so many different ways. The importance of cleansing isn't about extreme detoxing, which is what some people do once a year for a week, okay? It's about supporting the body's natural elimination system. And this is why I'm so good at talking about going to the toilet, because a good cleanse, a constant cleanse, being consistent with cleansing really helps to remove that buildup of waste and toxins. Now, when you have your teeth, right? You know, when you get plaque on your teeth, you go to the dentist, don't you, to chip all the plaque off. Well, that same plaque is acid ash residue, and that builds up on the colon as well. So when we have that lining of acid ash residue, just like you get the plaque on your teeth, that plaque becomes on the colon, and it's called mucoid plaque, okay? Then you have impacted fecal matter on top of that. I mean, it's not a pretty sight when you think of it, right? So it's no wonder that people are getting bloating, they're finding it difficult to lose weight, they're not getting nutrient absorption. So we've created a lot of products that with the formulations can actually target that, reducing bloating, the digestive comfort, resetting your microbiome, improving that nutrient absorption, preparing the body for probiotics, for nutrient dense foods. I want you to just kind of, look, Dr. Joshua Plant talks about it in lots of different ways, but it's just like when your sink backs up, right? Think of it as clearing out pipes before you pour everything else down there. Honestly, it makes such a huge difference. Now, yes, we have other products, but I'm going to kick off with Core Cleanse because Core Cleanse really is designed to support that body's natural pathways. So we're not only taking a look at the colon, okay? We're taking a look at the full digestive system. We're taking a look at the liver as well. Don't forget, we really want to help the liver. Now, I talked about mucoid plaque, okay? I talked about the fecal matter that is in the colon. But what happens is when all that stays there is that it builds up so many toxins, and those toxins and gases can actually seep through into the bloodstream, and then the liver has to deal with it. Now, you have one liver. You really want to take care of your liver. And so, of course, cleansing often really helps with that as well. Of course, we want to reduce the bloating and that digestive sluggishness and prepare the gut for nutrient absorption. So when I do talk about the diseases of civilization, then once we start getting the antioxidants actually going through that gut lining, okay, into the bloodstream after you've digested it, then we can actually take a look at reducing inflammation and reducing oxidative stress. Okay, so this is so important for every single product that you take. Cleansing needs to be that first step to any gut health journey. And it needs to be a gut health journey that we're taking often. Because when the digestive system is clear, everything works better. Yeah, especially the probiotics you're taking, especially the nutrient dense supplements that we're taking, because they're actually getting into the system. Now, what's wonderful, and I'm sure most of you know this as well, we have the 5 days of the core care, the core cleanse, and then we have the 2 days of core cleanse plus. So what we are doing is we're constantly stoking our system for it to do better. And then it gets into this beautiful ritual. I love rituals. And yes, like Kristen said, my latest book I launched last year was Japanese Rituals of Longevity. Cleansing is part of this. I lived in Japan for 10 years, so when you take a look at the types of foods that the Japanese eat, naturally, all the fish and everything high in parasites, high in heavy metals. So in their natural ritual, they're cleansing and they do a cleanse. It's really interesting. They do the summer months as well, which makes such a difference. And we're going into those summer months and the body, naturally wants to have a change up from the heavy foods that we're having in those winter seasons and the spring seasons. Things start to lighten up. We're eating lighter. We're feeling better. So just go with the flow of that as well. But you can actually take it one step further, and that is taking a look at Restorix. Now, you can do the core cleanse for a month. Then if you wanted to do a Restorix cleanse, and you can almost alternate each month as well, depending on how much you actually want to, stoke your system. I love a 3-month rule. Okay. And then you can go into a different type of routine after a year, because what you want to do is get this cellular renewal. When we stick with one product for 3 months, that 90 days of cellular renewal, then of course we are renewing the body in a different way. If we did 90 days of the core cleanse, then maybe went into 1 month of Restorix and probiotics and giving greens and glycotrol, then we really are resetting the whole digestive system. We can then, after a year of doing those 3 months for different products, we can go into a maintenance and you can start using core cleanse maybe once every 3 months because the system is actually clear, but still continue that cycle after a year. 1 month core cleanse, 1 month Restorix, constantly taking the probiotics, the giving greens, and using the sugar stop when you actually need it as well. So again, getting that routine, getting that ritual, have in mind always long-term longevity. What am I going to do that my future self is always going to thank me for? And this is the routine. So Restorix is amazing because it does something very different, okay? We're binding and we're removing those toxins with the activated charcoal and the zeolite. So the core cleanse is setting the body up almost for a Restorix cleanse. So the Restorix isn't having to work so hard at moving everything through. In fact, some people say when they start taking Restorix that they actually feel that their bowel movements has slowed a little bit. And so therefore, that's because we have all that fecal matter and mucoid plaque that's there that the core cleanse can get rid of. So you see, we want to set up the body for a Restorix cleanse. Now, there is no problem in my mind doing both core cleanse and Restorix together if you wanted to. But I would say this, do core cleanse for 1 week, get the body into that routine before adding Restorix at the same time, because we really want to bind and remove those toxins. We know that toxins build up in the body and can be a precursor to exacerbating illness in many different ways. We want to make sure that we're balancing that microbiome, supporting our cellular health and neutralizing free radicals as well. That is what Restorix does. So it's a fallacy. I do get people saying, oh, well, I eat a clean diet, I don't need a cleanse. Just like what Chris said. Chris, you eat well. You didn't think that you needed one. You had great results. Everybody is exposed to pollutants. Everyone is exposed to chemicals, heavy metals. And of course, the core cleanse and the Restorix helps the body capture and eliminate these unwanted substances in the gut that can suppress the immune system and your energy and your metabolism. So many people reach a plateau in their body balance journey, bringing core cleanse, bringing Restorix to move out of that plateau stage. Our cells, when I talk about cellular renewal and maybe even a fat cell. Fat is like a solvent for toxins. So your fat cells are loaded with toxins. So when you start losing weight and you start losing fat and you start cleansing, what happens is, they start shrinking before they're eliminated. But they'll only shrink so much because they've got so much toxins, they can't shrink anymore. We reach a plateau or we can't get rid of the belly fat that we want. And so, of course, when we cleanse, we can get rid of the toxins. So, of course, what happens to the fat cells? They shrink. Goodbye, they're gone. That's exactly what we want to be doing. Okay. And this really, really helps with the core cleanse plus, as well as the Restorix. Now, healthy bacteria for that healthy microbiome. There's so many things every single day that just kill the live bacteria in the gut. If you're taking any medication, if you have stress, eating junk food, drinking alcohol, drinking too much coffee, drinking too much tea, different types of medication, all those kinds of things we are doing on a daily basis. Most people are. You know, I love coffee. Coffee's my thing. I don't drink alcohol, but oh my gosh, Kristen knows. She's been at PXP with me. And I think I probably turned around to her and said, oh, I kill for a coffee right now. You know, that's my thing. I love a coffee, but it's all in a balance. I allow myself 2 or 3 a day, okay? And I buy really good coffee because I love a good coffee. But I am still taking care of my gut. But because I know that the coffee is actually going to disrupt that microbiome, kill off that live bacteria. So of course, I take probiotics every day. People say to me, "Oh, I've taken probiotics, but I'm not taking it now. I don't need it." And then I just turn around and say, "Are you drinking coffee? Do you have any chocolate? Are you having any sugar? Do you drink alcohol?" And they're like, yes, 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 yes. And it's like, well, then you need probiotics every day. It's all in a balance. You know, I'm not saying that you can't have those things, but everyone wants to feel 10 out of 10. But sometimes they're not willing to make that change. We have such simple solutions that if they're not willing to make the changes of the alcohol, the coffees, the sugars, and all those kinds of things, we actually have the products that can support all of those anyway. Yes, of course, being a nutritionist and naturopath, I would love for them to make those dietary changes, but until they're ready, they're not going to make it. Trust me, I have 4 kids, okay? My second daughter, so there's George, there's Holly, there's Lily, and there's Hannah. Lily, well, you always have a problem child, don't you? Lily loves sweets, and it is just incredible. And so it's difficult. And she's 29 now. She lives on her own, but she had gained quite a lot of weight. She has now lost 35 pounds. We have her on Sugar Stop, which she loves. She just doesn't have any cravings for sugars anymore. We have her on the probiotics. We have her on Restorix. I'm getting Core Cleanse for her because I know she can take it. And we have her on Giving Greens. Unbelievable difference. But for about 4 years, she just wasn't going to listen to me. And so I just kind of let it go. You know, look, I'm her mom. I don't want to be her carer or her doctor, right? So it's like, okay, you know what, Lily, I know when you're ready, you're going to come to me. When she was ready, she came. She's in full on, full tilt. She is just a perfect example of how our products can really transform someone's life. She started in January and we're now April. It's really, really amazing. But probiotics, she had a lot of bloating. Not surprising with the amount of sugar that she was having because it was fermenting in the gut. And literally, she was, she almost looked a little bit pregnant, you know? And I know sometimes when we're eating the foods that we're not, then this can happen. Restorix and probiotics, Giving Greens, Sugar Stop, and changing some of the ways that she ate, but not initially. We introduced the products first and she saw a difference. Then we started working on the lifestyle. And people are scared to change their lifestyle. That's why these products are so easy to introduce. So probiotics, we really want to get that beautiful support for the digestive system and of course nutrient absorption as well. Strengthening the immune system, improving that bowel regularity, but supporting the mood and the brain health through that gut brain axis. Yes, your gut speaks to your brain and your brain speaks to your gut. These messages are bidirectional. So we really, can have clearer messages, open up the intuition. We're going to know more when we're full. Okay. We're going to understand when we're thirsty. We're going to understand when we're hungry. Your cravings are going to cut. What we want to do is we want to crowd out all of the harmful bacteria by flooding the body with all of these amazing, amazing things. So you know probiotics really well. We have the 15 different strains, 20 billion live bacteria supporting that microbiome, and it is the foundation for that long-term digestive wellness. And probiotics actually works best after cleansing. So once you actually, if you want to introduce everything together, then I would suggest doing core cleanse first. Then you can introduce probiotics even while you're doing the Restorix cleanse. Because don't forget, the Restorix cleanse isn't going to touch the good bacteria in any particular way. But for those to work better, doing the core cleanse first, introducing probiotics even after 1 week, or continue taking them at the same time, will just get that good bacteria into a congested environment that potentially isn't doing very well. Now, when you put all these products into a congested environment, right? We've got the mucoid plaque, we have the impacted fecal matter on the side. That causes congestion. Now you're adding, probiotics, they are going to multiply. They have to push out the bad bacteria. What's going to happen first? Well, you might get a little bit of constipation, you might get a little bit of bloating, you might get a little bit of wind until everything is pushed out. Once that is cleansed, it's amazing. But this is also when I love to use Giving Greens, okay? Because we have the fiber in the Giving Greens, we've got the enzymes, we've got that plant nutrition. It's just more than a greens drink. It really is that gut supporting powerhouse as well. We know about fiber. Fiber feeds the good bacteria as a prebiotic as well. This is also why you can use Sugar Stop on a regular basis also, because that fiber is actually feeding the good bacteria. So now we're educating the digestive system. I love talking about protecting and correcting. Our products protect and they correct. This is a corrective measure before we can protect it again. So once you cleanse, you just kind of think of stripping back, wood on a beautiful wood cabinet that has maybe been painted over white by someone over the years. You want to chip all that white off. You want to retreat the wood. You want to bring it back to life so it's back to its original gorgeousness of clear, gorgeous wood. This is what we're doing. So again, we want to stabilize those blood sugar levels. Yes, Sugar Stop does that, but actually the Giving Greens will do that to some extent as well. And also promoting that feeling of fullness, and how wonderful is that, right? At 20 calories every 2 scoops. I have it every afternoon. I love it. The longest time for me is in between lunch and dinner. And so that break there, sometimes if I'm full on working at my desk, because of course USA has woken up, right? So I've got Asia out of the way. I do Japan, Asia, Australia first thing in the morning. Then of course when Europe wakes up, I'm working in the European market. USA wakes up. And Canada, I'm working in that market, and then I finish. So I need to be supporting my body all the time. So having the products on hand is really, really great. So it works a treat for me. I love the vegetable concentrates. I love the prebiotic support, but what I love is the digestive enzymes. Now, your gallbladder has a finite amount of digestive enzymes. So the older you are, and maybe the more bad habits you've had, then that gallbladder is having to work much, much harder. But if we can give them the digestive enzymes to help digest your food, to give everything a really good kickstart, then we are keeping that gut functioning smoothly, really, really smoothly. So that brings me into Sugar Stop. I love the fiber. I love the blood sugar support. It's been a game changer for Lily, my daughter. Honestly, one of those miraculous, I am calling it miraculous because she Do you know what? This is really awful. I'm just going to be really open and transparent. I mean, I see some of the Wellness Council on here, and I talk like this, don't I, Kristen, on the talks. I'm just really, really open. Lily's daughter actually, Lily's doctor recommended she went on the jab. Yeah, Manjaro. Well, of course she comes over for dinner and she says, "Oh, Dr. Andrews recommended, thinks the jab would be really good for me." Do you know what? I flippin' nearly hit the roof. Like, I mean, I rarely lose my temper, but I lost my temper with this. And I said, "If you go on that, Lily, I'm actually going to disown you as a daughter." I mean, and then I started talking to her really openly about all of the side effects of going on these GLP-1 jabs. I said, give this a try. Please just give this a try. And and I'm really lucky that she did, you know, but so many people are suffering. I have a friend, her name's Evelina, and Evelina is on the jab. And do you know what? She can't get off of it because she says now that she's on the jab, she is scared to come off of it. I said, just have a chat with Lily. I think Lily's going to be a really good salesperson, actually. We should get some testimonials from Lily. But I said, have a chat with Lily because she did it natural from the start. And I think that that makes a difference. We really need to support anyone, you know, no judgment, no shame. If people are on the jabs, it's because they've reached a point, they've either been talked into it, they haven't trusted a process that's been clear enough to give them the results that they need. And they haven't seen as many testimonials as they need to make an informed choice. I believe at PartnerCo, we have all of that for them. I really, really do. And you know what? I've been on so many phone calls with potential new customers, doing a lot more webinars, getting the customers on the calls, talking to them about this, because this should be the first protocol. Commit to it for 3 months. I guarantee you will get all great results from it. And Sugar Stop is there. It is, you know, fantastic to have in your medicine cabinet. You know, I do love a sugary treat every once in a while. Who doesn't? Always have cake for my birthday, you know? And my husband loves carrot cake. It's the only cake he'll eat. He doesn't like cake otherwise. So if we've gone out for a coffee, which we love going out for coffees, right? Because I love coffee. And then not always will a cafe have a carrot cake, but if they have a carrot cake, 9 times out of 10, we'll share a carrot cake. And I have now got into the routine of having Sugar Stop before I go to the cafe, just in case there's a carrot cake. I actually don't want to say no because it's such I mean, we probably do it once every 2 weeks. So, you know, it's not like I'm doing it every day. And for me, it really makes a huge difference. So we want to be absorbing those sugars, right, before they get into that bloodstream, and we want to be eliminating them. It really makes a massive, massive difference. So let's just put all of this together. Then I want to answer all of your questions. We have the core cleanse, right? We want to clear out that waste and we want to prepare the gut as much as possible. Really phenomenal results that I've been hearing from everybody. It is something that I would love for you to commit to for at least 3 months. Then you can pick and choose when you use it, but I would love for you to rotate it in a regular maintenance. Don't forget about it and don't just pull it out for a New Year's cleanse. Restorix is the same. So once you've done the core cleanse, I want you to do a Restorix cleanse, all right? Because you've already taken a lot of that mucoid plaque and that impacted fecal matter. You're going to notice that your bowel movements are better. Your bowel movements might actually be a little bit lighter when you're doing the core cleanse. And this is the reason why. That acid ash residue in that mucoid plaque is light, just like the plaque on your teeth. So I don't want you to worry in any way whatsoever. Now, I have also had someone say, well, actually, it was my bowel movements became a little bit green. And I was like, fantastic. You're starting to do a liver cleanse. You're dumping from the liver. This is amazing. So they're going to start telling you their bowel movements. We need to make it more open that we're talking about this all the time. So if they tell you the color is lighter, it's a positive thing. If they tell you the color is a little bit green, it's a positive thing. Don't let them worry at all. These are all great signs that the body is actually doing its own thing. Once you go through that, yes, you might have a little bit of the detox symptoms. Those can be a little bit of a headache. Make sure you're drinking a lot of water. Max 2O could be really fantastic during this time as well. Electrolytes, as we know, really help with that. And then, of course, do the Restorix cleanse. You might get those same detox symptoms because it's finally working better than ever because you've done the core cleanse. Have the probiotics at the same time. Make sure you're having the Giving Greens and Sugar Stop. Because remember, we're binding and removing those toxins, but we're rebuilding now the microbiome with all of those live bacteria. We're feeding the microbiome with the fiber that's in the Giving Greens and the Sugar Stop and the enzymes and the plant nutrients. And we're supporting those the healthy sugar metabolism as well. So we're creating clean, we're creating balance, we're creating a nourished gut, the foundation of all of our energy, our immunity, our weight management, and our overall health. And I just love all of them together. So on that note, I really want to answer all of the questions that you have on this, which is great. And did you want to go through some of those, Kristen, and
Yeah, I
ask
wrote
them?
some
Yeah,
down as they
great.
were coming through. Um, and of course, I've had some through the week as the product has launched that I felt like I was getting asked a lot.
Yeah.
And so then I feel like you would be the best person to maybe help me answer these as well. So one of the biggest ones I've been getting asked this week was could people who have diverticulitis, Crohn's, colitis, gallbladder issues, is this a product that would fit for them? My answer was this is an ingredient label they might want to take to their doctor, show it to them because whatever triggers their flares, I
Sure.
would want their doctor to talk about it. So this could be great for everybody because I know people on the call may have these issues and maybe they're hesitant to use it because that it's painful if you have inflammation there. So they're going to get asked that too. So those issues I've been getting asked.
Okay, great. Diverticulitis. Diverticulitis is when the colon goes a little bit floppy and you might get like a little dip in there. There's a lot of bacteria. There's a lot of fecal matter that can get impacted in the dip as well. So yes, I believe Core Cleanse will really help with that, as well as a Restorix cleanse at the same time. But gentle, gentle. Okay, because you're right, it can actually flare. There's no contraindications that it could flare it up in particular. Okay, but also with diverticulitis and with Crohn's disease is when the microvilli have actually been burnt off. Okay, so that's why it's so painful for them because any type of foods can be abrasive on that colon. Restorix in that case can be slightly abrasive. Core Cleanse would not be abrasive in any way. Psyllium husk is not abrasive, okay? And of course, it's completely gluten free, so that's no problem. So it should be fine. But yes, always get them to check with their doctor to see if that's okay. Irritable bowel syndrome, straight IBS. Get them to stop wheat, dairy, and sugar. Number one, while they're cleansing, they should have no problem with Core Cleanse at all.
Would you recommend people do a half a pack to start to just ease
Might be
in.
a good idea. Yeah, I think that's a very sensible, easy idea to start with. If that was me, I would probably do that exact same thing. Yes.
And then I've been asked about gallbladder issues, no gallbladder, um, failing gallbladders. Is
Yeah.
this a product that would be fine for those
Be
individuals?
great. Be great for that. And a lot of people don't actually talk about the pancreas. Now, a pancreas is, sits in between or right beside the gallbladder and in the liver. Now, you really want to take care of your pancreas. I don't know if you've known anybody who's had pancreatitis, but it is more painful than childbirth. So we need to be taking care of our gallbladder, our liver, and our pancreas. Cleansing is brilliant for that, but giving greens is also good because the gallbladder makes the enzymes. If they have issues with the gallbladder, they're not digesting their food properly. So if they're doing core cleanse and using the giving greens and the probiotics, wow, that is a beautiful winning combination for them. If you know anybody who has issues with their pancreas, has had pancreatitis, then definitely they need to be doing core cleanse, Restorix, the five, yeah, core cleanse, Restorix, probiotics, uh, giving greens, and sugar stop, for sure, for sure.
Okay. And then I've also been asked this week, medications. Should there be a window with medication, taking medications and before taking the core cleanse?
Yes. Not necessarily with the Restorix, because the Restorix, what's interesting, and I'll just explain the difference, okay? You have activated charcoal and zeolite. The not activated charcoal isn't actually absorbed into the bloodstream. So activated charcoal will remove toxins and gas that are charged in a different way in the gut and then physically remove them. Okay, but it won't remove medications. It won't remove um, good bacteria either. Now, Psyllium husk and senna will move everything through. But don't forget, medications are digested, then absorbed into the bloodstream. Psyllium husk, ginger, lemons, magnesium glycinate, all of those are just going to move through. So yes, a window should be there. Common sense needs to be in. I would say 1 to 2 hours. If you're doing a cleanse at night, have your medications in the morning. If you're having your medications throughout the day, leave a 1 to 2 hour window.
Perfect. And then this is just another one that I've been asked. If you have some sort of bloating or discomfort or gas, and I mean, obviously, I experienced this with Sugar Stop when I first started using it. And I actually realized, that's not a bad thing
Yeah.
because my body probably needed those fibers. So, people kind of get on and they say, I had bad experience. It made my stomach hurt. It made me have gas. It made me bloat. Maybe just reiterate that sometimes that's actually not a bad thing because your body actually may be needing those fibers because it was lacking. So if you experience a little bit of that in the beginning, it could be a good thing. So,
A
um,
100%. And yes, it is uncomfortable. I get that. But remember, we're in the overcrowding stage. For the first, it could be up to the first 4 weeks, depending on how sluggish your bowel actually is. So if your digestive system has that mucoid plaque, has that fecal matter. And then, of course, now we're adding more fiber, we're adding bulking agents, we're adding probiotics, we're adding prebiotics so it can grow its own um, probiotics. Then what happens to all the bad bacteria that's in there? Because there's trillions of them, right? For the first 10 days, they're like, oh my God, where do I go? What do I do? Before the good bacteria clicks in to start overcrowding them out. Okay. So we are finally overcrowding them. But I mean, look, a digestive system is only that big. So you start overcrowding, what's going to happen? You're going to start bloating. You're going to start feeling, maybe a bit full, sometimes even a bit nauseous, because those toxic gases that the bad bacteria are expelling while they're dying before they are expelled is going back into the bloodstream. Your liver is having to take care of all of this as well, which is why I love a Restorix cleanse afterwards, so we can really cleanse that liver down also. So they go really like hand in hand. I would not stop because of it being uncomfortable. That is the sign it's actually working. And you know what? Whatever you do, you will have to go through that. So even, they might as well do it now because they've started, right? They've ripped off the Band-Aid. They've committed to a cleanse. You know what? Trust the process. Trust the process, because once everything clears through, wow, you are really going to feel an amazing difference. Amazing.
And then the final question I've gotten was, do you feel that there could be a potential sienna dependency using it those 2 days?
Okay, yeah, I've been asked that a lot. And my simple answer here is 100% absolutely no. There is a small amount of senna that is there. They're going to get amazing results from the product. They should not have any type of dependency on that product at all. It's not designed like that. We're not putting a huge dependency amount that is in there. We're giving you an active dose that is going to provide a result, not a dependency.
Okay. Well, I think that's all the questions I had. I don't know if Cindy or anybody else caught any more in the chat, but those were the
There is
ones.
one I can see right now. Can you
Okay.
mix it with hot water? Um, no, please. I don't like anything mixed with hot water. It could change the molecular structure of the product itself. It's not a tea, it's a cleanse. So I think that's something that we want to try to reiterate. So if you could have it room temperature, chilled, that would be great. I keep seeing some come in here. It's designed for age 18 plus. Okay. All of our products besides Tahitian noni juice and the Nutrify Kids is for children. 18 plus is what we have, but a little bit off record, right? If you are the parent, you are actually the one that's responsible for them. So, if you're the parent, yeah, exactly. Off record, okay? If you're the parent, then it's your decision what you do. But be very, very, very careful with that. I think tidy up their diet if they're having issues. Taking a look at what junk food that they're having. I love the approved food list. I think that's great. Get them to drink more water before you embark on a cleanse. And of course, if they're younger, please, please, please take a look at how you're supporting them from a nutritional point of view, which is great. Yeah. Can it help gout? Is one. I got this great story. My husband, before he met me, used to suffer from gout. And so, of course, thankfully, my husband listens to me and he doesn't have any gout anymore, never suffers from gout, which is really fascinating. I haven't tried him on Core Cleanse, but he does do a Restorix cleanse often, and he really thinks that it's wonderful. So, I mean, you can try it for that. Please remember, this is a food supplement. It's not a medical supplement, so we can't really treat medical ailments with this. Again, if you alkalize the system, use the 5 products, okay, which is Core Cleanse, Restorix. You want Giving Greens, Probiotics, and Sugar Stop. Those are the 5. Then it will definitely help with yeast, parasites, gout, because you are tidying up that digestive system. And actually, I'd add Max 2O into that as well. I think that would be really, really fantastic. Really fantastic.
Hey,
Great.
Barbara, we've got somebody asking, can they, Cammy had raised your hand, and we try not to do that because it gets things rolling too fast, but she's asking, is it okay if she has low iron, very low iron?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Giving greens would be wonderful if you have low iron, as well as Restorix would be great for low iron. And she can definitely use Core Cleanse if you have low iron. It's not going to remove any further iron from the blood in any particular way. If anything, once you actually remove that fecal matter and the mucoid plaque that's covering the colon, she would get better absorption of any iron that she's having. So it's a 100% a winner in that case for sure.
And the person that asked about gout, I'm going to tell you, I have suffered from gout. Didn't know what I had the first time. Thought I was going to absolutely die. I didn't even know what was wrong with me. It was awful. If you haven't experienced it, it's amazing pain. And I don't know if I'm right about this. Someone suggested MOA, and I did. I started using MOA. I doubled up on it, and I don't know that cured it. It may have just went away.
Yeah,
But I actually had blood work done yesterday, and my uric acid is back in where it's caused from uric acid.
it
And
is.
acid
It
was
is.
actually really good yesterday. So those are great things to say. I just know that for me, the MOA, I felt the flare up last week. At least I thought it was. I wasn't sure I had something. I'm so scared of that stuff. If you've ever had it, I'm just telling you, if you feel it coming on, you want to attack it immediately. And
Yeah.
they do have a medication for it, but it's not, the side effects of the medication are awful. So I just doubled up on MOA, and I don't know that that's what the flare up was, but I know that it went away very quickly.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that is great. And once you're on medication for gout, you're on it for life. So again, having a medicinal nutritional box of tools with our products, MOA is brilliant for gout. Absolutely brilliant. I did see something for fever blisters there as well. Yes, I would cleanse, I would use Restorix, and then I'd use Tahitian noni and MOA to actually build the system back up again. Remember, all of those are caused by inflammation. They're caused by that gut not working properly. And so, of course, once we clear those up, definitely going to help. Fantastic.
We got about 3 more minutes. If anybody else has a question they want to put in the chat, be happy to try to address it. I'm amazed. We're getting so many people in chat. You're doing an amazing job because we've had so many. I think everybody is just so excited about
I've
listening.
seen
Saying
I've
about
seen
that.
one here. How do the drops tie in? Yes, you can do this. So if you want to just put the drops into the mix, then I would do Core Cleanse. Was my daughter Lily on the drops? Yes, but don't forget our drops are different. She was on the day and night drops. You have the Slender X and Accelerate. Then of course you can do that as well. So Lily was on the drops. She was on all of the 5 products that I talked about today, except Core Cleanse. But we have the Restorix, so we have her on the Restorix. So yeah, it would be absolutely fantastic. We also had Lily on Max 2O because Max 2O is something she likes to sip throughout the day. So, find everything that really, really works for you. But yes, it would be wonderful.
Guys, I think we're going to wrap it up right here. Been a great. If you enjoyed this today, guys, I want you to put a heart in the chat. I know that we've had so many people that liked what we said today, and we've got so much exciting things. Barbara, thank you so much for being on here.
Thank you for having me. It's